Colonel, I implore you. We must destroy that tower.
Sergeant, that tower is one of the oldest and most treasured of all the historically important structures. I'm not gonna be the son of a bitch responsible for turning 1,000 years of history into dust. The tower stands!
Hello YouTube and hello 9th Age community. This is Charles with Evershade Gaming, and I'm bringing you my 5th battle report from Siege at the Tower. So this is Siege at the Tower, Game 5, and deployment is Classic. The objective is Breakthrough, and we still have our Giants. I feel like I've been putting off this game because, you know, all my other Siege at the Tower games are fun. Even the games I lost, I enjoyed myself. This game was not enjoyable, unfortunately, and it really came down to we played a rule wrong, and it lost me the game. And we'll get to that at a certain point. Looking at my opponent's army, he has a Sorcerer on a Chariot, Mark of Pestilence, Dueler Shield, Talisman Supreme Shielding, Crown of Autocracy, and Necrotic Miasma, and then he's rocking Path of Shamanism, so a pretty tough character. I mean, he's got a 2-up, 4-up. He's on a T5 Chariot. I don't know if he's T5 himself. I mean, he's T5 on the Chariot, 4 wounds. Really tough. Shamanism is amazing. Probably the most overpowered lore right now in the game. And then he also has Anointed BSB, Mark Pestilence, Duststone, Potion of Swiftness, Icon of Relentless Company, Wasteland Skin, and a Pestilence Plankwind. So he also has a 1-up. Rerolling, really tough, really good, really tough. 5 Dragon Centaurs, full command, 25 Wasteland Warriors, Banner of Filth, full command, 8 Warhounds, 3 Crusher Knights, full command, Banner of Fury, 5 Barbarian Horsemen with the Lust upgrade, and a Champion, and then an Elder Dragon Centaur and a Hell Cannon. So this is the second Warriors list I played, and I would rate it and the other list I played pretty even. I mean, they're pretty much doing the same thing. They've got the big block of Pestilence and Core. I really like Mauler Chariots. So, I mean, I think Mauler Chariots are really good. So I would definitely, if I played Warriors Dark Gods, I would play with them. But he doesn't have any lists, which actually made me happy when I saw it. My opponent's wizard has 4 spells from Shamanism, Savage Fury, Totanic Summon, Awaken the Beast, and Break the Spirit. Probably the 4 best spells in the lore. I have Word of Iron in this game, Molten Copper, Quicksilver Lash, and Transmutation of Lead. And Transmutation of Lead it actually helps me in a couple places, but it's not inherently that useful in this game, unfortunately. Starting to look at deployment, my opponent has his dogs on the left of his field, his 3 Crusher Knights, and then his general, and then next to his general in the Chariot is a big block of Pestilence Warriors with his BSB in it. Next to them is the Dragon Centaurs. In front of the Hell Cannon is the Glotkin model. In front of that is his Hell Riders, and then his Elder Dragon Centaur is that purple model. And then his Giant is the Greater Demon of Lust model. Looking at my deployment, I got 5 Dark Raiders. They're matched up against the dogs. My General, my Hunting Chariot, my Repeater Auxiliaries with my Wizard in there, my Giant, and then my Executioners. Behind my Executioners are my Harpies. And then I have my 2 Raptor Chariots on that hill. Next to them is my Altar with my Legionnaires with my Altar in it, and then my 2 Bolt Throwers are in the woods, and one of your Dark Raiders is all the way past the forest. He vanguards his dogs up, and I move mine up as well. I get within 7 inches of them. I dropped quite a bit first to go first, so I just moved them so that they were farther than a stand and shoot, but close enough to be close range. I move these guys up 12 because I know I'm going to be able to get out of the range of the Giant, and I know I'm getting first turn. And this is what turn 1 looks like. So I move my General up to kind of get on the flank over there. I think he can handle some of those units. I keep my Raiders there, and then I just move up lightly. You know, I got a lot of shooting, and I'm going to try and use that to my advantage this game. This is what the other side of the board looks like. I didn't move the Dark Raiders all the way up because I just wanted to get rid of those Hell the Barbarian Horseman of Lust, turn 1. So in the magic phase, it is 8 dice to 5. I channel. I cast Transmutation of Lead on the Hell Cannon. I did it mostly to get the flaming attribute off somewhere else, but it did end up helping. And then that was the only spell I got off. In shooting, I kill 3 of the Warhounds, and they panic, and they pretty much just run off the board after the next turn. Everyone takes a turn, and, you know, between the chariots, I believe the repeaters, and the Dark Raiders, and I think 1 bolt thrower, we just kill off all the dark, the Barbarian Horsemen. And then one of my bolt throwers multi-shots at this giant, and I think because I think I was at long range, so I thought I'd just multi-shot, and I actually hit 3 times, and I wounded all 3, needed to pass any ward saves to do 3 wounds. Pretty sweet. Warriors the Dark Gods, turn 1. He's aggressive with everything. He pushes up. I don't think he moves his Hell Cannon, but, you know, everything moves up as far as it can, pretty much, except I think he's a little bit hesitant on the left with his Crusher Knights. The magic phase is 5 dice to 4, and he tries to get Break the Spirit off, but I stop it, and then he fails to cast Totemic Summon, so he gets no spells off, turn 1, and he shoots with the Hell Cannon at the Executioners, and since he's only strength 3, he doesn't wound very well, and I actually pass 4 ward saves, so I only lose 4 guys, so not bad at all. So at the start of Dread Elf turn 1, I want to charge my Executioners at those Dragon Elder Centaurs, and I put up the Lethal Strike aura from the altar, but I failed the charge. It was a 13-inch charge, so I needed an 8 with the Swift Stride banner, and I failed it, unfortunately. So not a great start to my turn 2. So the rest of my movement is just trying to prepare for the charges incoming. I moved the Harpies to chaff the Centaurs and the Elder Dragon Centaur, and then with my chariots to countercharge, same thing with a giant. In the magic phase, I get Ward of Iron off on my Executioners. So I get the +2 version 2, which is really great. The magic phase was 9 to 6, my opponent channel. I believe I also casted Quicksilver Lash and, you know, did like 2 or 3 wounds to the warrior block. And my shooting didn't really do too much. I don't really have any notes for it. I think my hunting chariot might have done some wounds to the Crusher Knights. I didn't want to put my general into them. I didn't think he could take the three knights on his own. You know, he's kind of really flimsy in combat. That's what I've come to learn. Start of Warriors Dark Gods turn 2. My chaff fail their terror tests from the Elder Dragon Centaur, and they flee. He attempts to redirect in the chariot, and he's successful in the redirect attempt, but he fails the charge. And he just stumps forward a little bit, and then he puts both of these units into the Executioners, which I'm a little bit nervous about. I mean, Executioners are tough, but, you know, that's 2 big blocks. Thankfully, he could only get 2 Centaurs in there, so not too many stomps, thankfully, just 4. Over here, he just I did eliminate one of his Crushers last time mentioning this, I thought. He just turns the Crushers to look right at my general and says, bring it on, come on in here. And this is what everything else looks like. So his Chariot Lord is kind of just, you know, enjoying the cover from the forest. And his Giant is also dead. I must have killed that last turn too, which is nice. And then he has his Hell Cannon where it is. In the magic phase, my opponent gets only 2 dice. Nobody channels, and he is able to actually get Break the Spirit off. So that's good for my opponent. That's a great spell. And then in the combat phase, since my opponent doesn't really have any shooting, the Centaurs, I do 7 wounds to them, so I almost kill that one in the back. And since my opponent got Break the Spirit off, he said that, or we thought, I think we collectively thought, it's really hard to tell at this point, it's been like a couple weeks. Anyway, I guess the thing is, I hit his warriors on 6s, which is not correct. You can only, this is the rules, this is the soft cheating rules violation that happened in the game that pretty much lost me the game. because my executioners, you know, like I put 10 attacks on these Elder Dragon Centaurs, I do 7 wounds because, you know, I'm still hitting on 4s with hatred, still rerolling 3s to wound because the altar's nearby with the lethal strike. And then, you know, so, you know, I have 26 in the unit, 10 attacks go on the Dragon Centaurs, 17 go on the Warriors, and I only do 4 wounds to the Warriors because I'm thinking I'm hitting on 6s. Actually, 16 go on the Warriors because we got in a challenge. And it's really funny. His character flubbed in the challenge. He only had 4, you know, he only has like 4 attacks sitting on 3s, and he just missed them all. And then, you know, of course, I thought my champion was sitting on 6s too, so my champion doesn't do anything. And then in the middle of the combat, after I think he's already kind of, we've already done the challenge. He started to roll his warriors, and then he's like, "Oh, my Flankman has like initiative 3. It can, you know, it can fight too." In the challenge, and his Plankman does like 3 poison wounds, and I have 3 armor saves in the executioner, so I don't make any armor saves. So the champion actually died in the challenge to the poison Plankman. So I'm hitting on 6s. I only do 4 wounds to the warriors. He, you know, he does a decent amount of wounds. I'm making, honestly, I think the rolling was pretty normal. It would have been really normal if I wasn't rolling 6s to hit the warriors. But, you know, like, I made a decent amount of saves. He was, you know, he made, you know, some saves here or there, you know, because he had 6s against my strength 6. But when it comes down to it, I lost combat by 4. Because he does have 2 banners going in there, plus his BSB. He's got a lot of static combat res. I only had 26 executioners start. I wish I took more pictures, but unfortunately, it was just so frustrating at the end that I just forgot to take more pictures. So when it's all said and done, the warriors overrun into the giant. I can't remember. And then, you know, I flee with like almost 20 executioners. I made a lot of armor saves. He just had a lot of combat res. You know, I flee with my Swiss Strider, and he catches me with the warriors or something like that. And the Elder Dragon Centaurs go into the Raptor Chariot too. So just really, really crappy, really awful. I'll probably complain more about it at the end of the report. So at the start of Dread Elf turn 1, I'm trying to rally the game, and I countercharge my chariot into Dragon Centaur. I was debating of putting it into the flank of the warriors, but I went with the Dragon Centaurs, and then I actually charged my spear block with my alternate into his Elder Dragon Centaur. And I believe I used the ability from the altar to reroll my charge against it. And then I charged my general into these 2 Skull Crushers, because I'm hoping that he can, you know, kill these guys, and then I can try and kill his lord. Now that I'm looking at it, gosh, he looks so small compared to those models. But then again, those are Age of Sigmar models, and their scale has like really creeped up and got really large. So this is what the game looks like at Dread Elf turn 3, top of movement. Magic is 9 dice to 5, and I get Word of Iron off on my Raptor Chariot. You know, they've already got 3 of armor save, so I only get the +1 version off, but you know, even a 2 of armor save it's really good against the Strength 5. And then I'm also able to get, and then I put the attribute on his Chariot Lord, because, you know, this guy's still a threat, and he's a lot of points, too. That's the amazing thing about these Chariot characters. They're a lot of points, but they're always, like, second in target priority compared to the combat units. And I do a quick Silver Lash, and it does 2 wounds to him, so that was really good. In combat, I inflict 4 wounds, unfortunately. I hit with 3 attacks, or I might actually hit with 4 attacks. I wounded with 3 attacks because I only have hatred. I don't have lightning reflexes, and I do 4 wounds, and he does a wound back to me, which really stunk because that is the champion. So he's got like 4 attacks. The mount's got like 4 attacks. So I was hoping that he would just kill them. Over here, I come in and my character does 2 wounds. I get like 5 impact hits, but they like all flub, you know, like I'm wounding on 5-ups, but they all don't wound. The spears poke 1 wound through, and he like, of course, you know, so you come in, you got all this static combat res, You got like 3 ranks, a banner, your BSB, your charge, you got +6 combat. You got a 6 thunder stomp and like just like a bunch of stomps. So I mean, it is a stubborn monster, but we actually tied in combat. It was really stupid. In an equally frustrating combat, I go away and I do some wounds with impact hits. He's got one guy with 1 wound left. My opponent made an absorbent amount of 5-up armor saves here. It was ridiculous. And he sticks, and then over here, he does exactly 6 wounds and kills my giant after it strikes, which sucks. Because it has a 6-up ward save, so I should have made 1 ward save, and then I could have got my Thunder Stomp and passed like my stubborn test. So that was terrible. So this game is I'm sorry for this game is just terrible if you can't tell. I really was like, do I want to even make this battle report? But you gotta. He turns around, and then on Warriors of the Dark Gods, turn 3, he charges the flank of my Raptor Chariot. And then he puts his Hell Cannon into the spears because he might as well finish them off. Obviously, they couldn't kill the Elder Dragons in turn 1 round of combat, so they're stuck there. And in the magic phase, he doesn't really do anything because he only gets 2-to-1 dice. So right to combat, he kills a decent amount. He gets small thunder stops this round of combat. I stick around. Over here, my lord does one more hit. He gets a wound through. I think he gets 2 wounds through, and my opponent makes a 5-up armor save. And then he turns around and he kills my Dreadlord. Oh my god, this game is hot garbage, I'll be honest. I couldn't believe it. And it only gets worse from here, folks. Please keep watching though. It gets better. You're gonna hear me scream more. Dread Elves, turn 4. I really don't have. I have movement. Like I'm moving my hunting chariot around and moving my Dark Raiders around. But I got also frustrated at this point, so I'm losing a lot of pictures. Going to the magic phase, it's 6 dice to 4. I have a good magic phase. I get Quicksilver Lash off on his Lord, and I do 4 wounds, and he makes 4 ward saves. And this is a model that only has 2 wounds left. Tell me that's not insane. Please, in the comments, tell me that was not insane. Type hashtag insane saves. Please, that'll make my day. And I also miscast with that spell, and my wizard takes a wound, so it doesn't kill her, thankfully. My Dark Raiders get some small vengeance, and they're able to put 1 more wound on that last Crusher Knight and kill him. My other unit of Dark Raiders do 1 wound of these Dragon Centaurs. He had no problem killing my chariots and beating them into submission. But it was nice to put 1 more wound in these guys because now I got half points on them. And then over here, my hunting chariot also hits his lord, and he passes another 4-up ward save. Hashtag insane saves. Let's see it in the comment section. Make my day, please. And then over here, he kills the rest of my legionnaires off. I don't think that dice is marking wounds on my altar. I think it's just in the picture. And pretty sure she's at full wounds. But, she's fleeing, and she is caught and pursued. And this is actually Warriors of the Dark Gods' turn 4. He charges 1 of my bolt throwers in the woods, and I believe the cannon actually failed a frenzy test and failed charge one of the other bolt throwers. And this is what the rest of my opponent's movement looks like. So, he's moved his other unit of Dragon Centaurs over to, threaten the other bolt thrower. He's turned around his warrior block to get those repeater auxiliaries. The Elder Dragon Centaur has no problem, wiping the bolt thrower, and he overruns to be right there. At the start of Dread Elf turn 5, again, I'm sorry, I'm not taking pictures of my movement phase. I am way too distraught at this point. In the magic phase, I get 7 to 5 dice. I put the Transmutation of Lead on his cannon as just more of a throwaway spell to put the attribute somewhere. because I still have Molten Copper, which is decent against this Lord, but I don't get any other spells off. In the Shooting Phase, this is actually where I put 1 wound on the Dragon Centaurs to get them at half points, which is good. And then my Bolt Thrower hits wounds and does 2 or 3. I mean, it finishes off the Dragon Elder Centaur, which is good as well. Picking up some points. Start of Words Dark Arts turn 5. I got these recruiter auxiliaries like 14 inches away from his block, and I was worried about fleeing and not fleeing far enough, because then his Chariot Lord also could have charged. So I was like, I'll hold it. He needs a 10 on the dice. Hopefully he doesn't get it. Of course he gets it. You know, this is his game to win. Yeah. So his block makes it 2 auxiliaries, of course, and then this is the rest of his movement phase, the way he positions around. My opponent's magic phase is 7-4, but I stop all his spells. Either I'm guessing he probably failed to cast 1 or something like that. In the combat phase, these warriors have no problem just crushing. You know, they don't even leave 1 alive. And then over here, the Dragon Centaurs, they finish off the other Bolt Thrower with help from the Hell Cannon, and the Hell Cannon has to overrun because it has Frenzy. Sort of Dread Elves turn 6. I've got my Sorcerer. You know, she dropped out of the Repeater Auxiliaries a while ago, and she's over there chilling with her Spectral Spirit, giving her Sight, and everything's just around the general trying to get his points in this last turn. Again, I just kind of throw a transitional. It's like I only got so many spells. You got to get the attribute off if you're going to want to really do any serious damage. So I think I don't know why I wasn't casting Word of Iron. And then I get the transitional let off. I mean, it's not bad to weaken the strength of that thing, but at this point, I should just been throwing Word of Iron around or something like that. I do get the attribute on this guy, but that's it. And I do all my shooting at his general. And my Hunting Chariot for the last 3 turns, it hit every time, it wounded every time, makes it pass his armor save, and he passes his ward save. So my opponent made like 8 ward saves to keep this guy alive. It was insane. It was insane. So at the end of game, there's not really much shooting or anything. Or my opponent charges my Hunting Chariot. It's a pretty far charge, but I have to flee it. I already, got paid a lesson about if you don't flee your charges, you're going to get caught. It takes 2 wounds, doesn't, give up half points, thankfully. And then my opponent tries to do a Titanic Summon to get my Wizard on the board, but I stop it. Or kill my Wizard, because he could have brought it up and then done the Breath Weapon in the Shooting Phase. Because she kept miscasting, and she kept taking like 1 wound every time. Thankfully, not dying like how she died in Game 3. So that is the end shot of the game. So the end of the game ends up being like a 19-1, I believe. I've saved about 900 points, so not too terrible, between my Wizard and my 2 Dark Raiders that were left and my Hunting Chariot. And I had some points on the board at least. I didn't lose everything. Part of me just wishes that turn 1 I used the Altar to give those Executioners the reroll charge ability so that they would just made that charge. And then we would have never had that rules error with the Pestilence Mark. And because I guess the other part of me wishes that ended up. I looked at his, because he had his list and it's like the Battle Scribe ones where it's got all the rules and everything. So part of me just wishes I slowed down and I looked at that, and I could have been like, oh wait, it says here you can only suffer up to a 5-up for the hitting penalty, which would have been amazing. Because honestly, otherwise I think I win that combat, or we tie at the very least. Because even if you just double the amount of wounds I did from the Executioners, we would have tied combat. And then my next turn, it's like I would have had 2 Hunting Chariots slamming in there. I would have had a Giant coming in. It would have been so good. So rough. And then I just couldn't believe the saves he made on his Lord. they just kept coming, and like 3 of them were from the hunting chariot, which is D3 multiple wounds. The 4 he made from the Quicksilver Lash, that blew my mind. The game was already like turning so south at that point. It was just like my opponent was just making all the saves. So as I was returning home with my companions, and everyone was talking about their MVPs and LVPs, and actually one of the guys I was playing with, Maxwell Lepore, Mooksy on the forums, he won Siege of the Tower with his Infernal Dwarves. And we were talking about our MVPs and LVPs, and oh my gosh, it was so hard to answer what my MVP was for this tournament, because unfortunately just nothing really shined for me. There were so many opportunities for the Lord to shine, and then like some bad luck came, and he just like croaks, and it was terrible. It'd probably have to be the Executioners, because consistently throughout the games, I only lost them in game 2. All the other games, they got me points, or they were pretty crucial in helping me delete some blocks. In this game, they should have carried a lot of weight, and unfortunately they got cut short. So I feel like MVP is probably Executioners. Also, I actually really enjoyed having Repeater Auxiliaries back in my list. I probably played for like 4 months without them after Buckeye Battles. I played with them there. Actually, I played with them at Strength in Numbers 2. 2 other Ohio tournaments. And then it was really good. I really enjoyed having them back. I was kind of surprised. So my LVP is probably the Lord, unfortunately. There's just so many bad so many bad things that happened to him. Like in game 2 was so sad, where the Vortex Beast kills him after it passes its like LD4 break test, and it just pokes through like 2 wounds against his 1-up armor save in close combat. So unfortunately, he's probably the LVP, but he's a soft LVP, because he did, like in game 3, he did well. He killed Abomination. He killed the Lightning Cannon. Game 1, I just didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know what I was doing in game 1, unfortunately. That was a really poorly played game. So I want to thank everybody for watching these battle reports, especially the Siege of the Tower tournament reports. And fortunately, I haven't played some games recently, but I'm going to Battlecry in Maryland and Baltimore in a couple weekends. So I'll be playing there. I'm actually going to bring my Empire Sunstel army out there. I haven't played Empire Sunstel at the tournament since Adepticon in 2014, so I'm pretty excited. Got a fun-looking list. I should be able to I'll probably get 2 battle reports up of me playtesting that list before I go to the tournament, and then after that I'll have 5 more tournament battle reports put up. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share this video. I'll be posting on the forums, and don't forget to comment #InsaneSaves. I'll see you soon, everybody.